Alhamdulillah. Wassalat wassalam ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi. This light right here, just oh, maybe hit that light switch right there behind the speaker. There it is. Alhamdulillah. So Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, wassalat wassalam ala Rasul alihi wa ashabihi wa man wala. So we're changing gears, switching gears for the new year to the 40 hadith of Imam and Nawawi. It should be some. Actually, I think somebody dropped off a bunch of these, so I was like, might as well use them for class because they're free. You know what I'm saying? And so Imam Nawawi was actually from Syria. May Allah bless the people of Syria and in defining Nawawi was a classical scholar whose name was Muhyiddin Abu Zakaria Ibn Abi Yahya Shara, the first of the. It starts out by saying, anyone who memorizes 40 of my sayings, right, for different purposes, right? Sometimes a person, he'll leave a place and it'll be solely for business. He'll say, okay, I'm about to move to America. I'm about to move from America, and I'm doing this for my, for my dunya. I want to make money. I live in the Bay Area. I get accepted to a school in the East Coast. The plan on, once I leave it, be educated, I'm going to be able to get a good job, I'm going to be a doctor or a lawyer or something. So the reason why you went, your intention for going is not religious. And that doesn't make it unlawful, right? You don't have to make a religious intention for every act that you do, right? You can do something and you say, I'm doing, make money. I'm doing this so I can meet a wife. They might have religious implications, but the main reason why you're doing it is just worldly, mundane, mubah, right? So the Prophet ﷺ he's teaching the people in this hadith that verily your intention is what's going to is your action that you do is going to be judged by what intention was behind it. Like, if you put an orange seedling for oranges, don't expect apples, right? If you plums, a plum seedling, don't expect tangerines, right? If the niyyah is for the dunya, then that's what you'll probably get out of it. You know what I'm saying? So there's a very, very famous story that goes with this hadith that has some weakness in it, but the story itself is that there was a woman who was one of the female companions of the Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam. She was one of his sahabiyat, female companions, and she was very beautiful and very educated, right? Case. Her name was Case. And there was a non-Muslim who wanted to marry her. And so she said, I will never marry you unless you become Muslim and migrate to Medina. And so he wanted to marry her, and that's what he did. Like every brother who ever wanted to marry a sister, know you might have to do. It's like a motivational thing, right? I wasn't gonna do this, but the sister want me to do it, so now I'm gonna do it, right? So he changed. He did a lifestyle change for this sister. He said, "I'm gonna become Muslim, and I'm gonna move to Medina," right? Anybody who makes a hijrah for Allah, all of his sins are forgiven because you made a hijrah for Allah and his messenger, right? So you live in a place that's surrounded by things that aren't lawful, and you move to a place where things are more lawful. You can practice. The only reason you did it was for religious. All of your sins in that case are forgiven. You know what I'm saying? Because you made a hijrah. You left everything that you're familiar with and you migrated to a new place. And the only reason you did that, I'm making a hijrah for this religion. I'm making a hijrah for Allah so I can become closer to Allah. And a hijrah is, permanent. You're not thinking I'm going to go there for 6 months, learn a little Arabic and come back. You're like, no, I'm gone. I ain't looking back unless the place I left makes a super, till they become the whole place, that whole area becomes more religious, then I'll move back, right? So this is man hajara ilallahi wa man hajara ilallahi wa rasulihi, right? Whoever migrates to Allah and his messenger, right? For man kana hijratuhu ilallahi wa rasulihi, for hijratuhu ilallahi wa rasulihi. Thank you. So whoever's hijrah was for Allah and his messenger, his hijrah was for Allah and his messenger, right? Case hijrah, she was moving for Allah and his messenger. The man who wanted to marry her, Allah and his messenger ain't had nothing to do with that, right? So when he made his hijrah, he moved to Medina and he got married. He might have had a better life. He might have had a beautiful marriage. But the Prophet ﷺ, he stood up on the minbar and he said, verily actions are by intentions, right? Whoever's hijrah is to Allah and his messenger, his hijrah is to Allah and his messenger. And whoever's hijrah is for this world to receive a portion of it, or for a woman to marry, he gets exactly what he made his hijrah for. So this man is known in Islamic history as Muhajir Qais, the one who made a hijrah for the sake of Qais, right? Not to say that he might have been a great Muslim. The only thing we know about him, if the story is Sahih, which maybe is point, he made a major decision based on the doom. And the Prophet letting us know, even if the act was religious, if you do it based on the dunya, you ain't getting no credit for it. Which is very, very different from how people understand this hadith. People understand this hadith the opposite. You say, brother, you're not supposed to sit with that woman and go and hang out with her. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not married. And the brother gonna say, verily actions are for intentions. You say, brother, you're not supposed to do, supposed to say, verily actions are knower. Allah knows my intention. That's not what this hadith is saying, though. If you got a proof for that, you could good intentions to say, it's my intentions, man. Allah knows my intentions is good. I need to feed my family. some intentions, then no, it don't work like that. Because your intention should be to please Allah. So you know that Allah doesn't need, you can't say, well, get good out of it, I'm going to do such and such a deed, right? So the background for this hadith. This hadith was expressed by the Prophet ﷺ at a time when a man migrated from Mecca to Medina during the Hijrah for the sake of marriage. According to hadith is 1/3 of the knowledge of Islam. Right? So this one hadith is 1/3 of religious knowledge. And if you got your intentions right, that's 1/3 of what you need to know about the religion of Islam. This was said by Imam Shafi'i, who was a great Islamic scholar, right? And he's saying basically, oh, wait, before I go on to that, Imam Ahmed said Islam is based on 3 functions: 2, actions of the limbs, and 3, interaction between people, our daily dealings, or mu'amilat, right? So Imam Shafi said this hadith is 1/3 of religious knowledge. This is the heart. So the heart has actions, right? People be like, what kind of action does my heart do? Other than do, right? So there are certain things in this religion that are deeds, they're actions, but they're not done by our limbs, right? Like patience. There's no limb, you're not going to flex any muscle for patience, right? Patience is something that comes from within. Just like an intention that you have in your heart. It's like reliance upon Allah. You can't take steroids, you can't work out in the gym and make yourself more reliant upon Allah. Whereas the physical body, certain muscles and become stronger, right? And there's certain actions of the limbs, which is also what Imam Ahmed says, the second part. Actions of the limbs are things that we physically do. We pray, we fast, we take shahada with our tongue. Our tongue is a limb. It says, Ashhadu ilaha illallah. That's something that has to exist in the heart and then be carried out by the limbs, right? Like prayer. Prayer, you have to have khushu in your heart while you're making salah, right? So the Prophet ﷺ said that the Muslims will come a time when no khushu. So you'll see a person praying, but he's only thinking about Allah a little bit, right? So your physical acts are still attached, have to have intention before you pray. If you don't have an intention, you're just doing a slow motion burpee. If you just got up and just started going up and down, you didn't intend to pray, like what's the point? No. And then while you're doing it, if you intend to pray, and this is what we all struggle with, right? We have to keep our Allah. Like that's the whole purpose of the prayer, is to think about Allah. You know what I'm saying? Think about what He's given, blessings and His mercy. And we're not thinking about those things, then we fall into what the Prophet ﷺ warned against the time of khushu, right? So they don't, when they're praying, their heart's not concentrate a little bit. And so when they leave the prayer, they don't do nothing. They don't have no change. As soon as I salam, there's no humility. I come out, I'm right back to cussing and yelling at my wife. I'm right back to, you know what I'm saying, whatever I was doing before. And then the third part of the prayers, so the first two, they mainly go with ibadat. So our ibadah, our worship, based on what's in the heart and what our limbs do to back it up. And then the last thing is mu'amalat, which is interactions or daily actions, dealings with people. And then the Sheikh gave a khutbah on this 2 Fridays ago. So basically, you gotta have good taqwa. You got to have concern with Allah. Taqwa is to put, when you're about to do something, you say, and bir is when you're about to do something, you say, is this thing gonna make Allah happy? And you do it. And then this is but the ayat when it says, join together in bir wa taqwa. And don't join ismi what, right? So bir and taqwa, when they're mentioned together, one is doing right and the other is staying away from doing wrong. But when it's this, right, it's one of those comprehensive words. When bir is mentioned by itself, birru walidaini, it means doing good by your parents, yes, and also means not harming your parents at the same time, right? So when these words are mentioned alone, they take in English, right? And you can say to him, hey man, you still got that truck, right? And if I'm listening in and you say to ask a person about a truck, that has a myriad of meanings, right? Because it could be a pickup truck, a big rig, you know what I'm saying? You don't know because it's not specific. But if a brother come up to me and say, man, I'm about to go to truck driving school, what kind of truck he's talking about, right? Because he ain't going to truck driving school to learn how to drive an F-150, right? Why would he do that? He need to get some special brakes, whatever they call class A with the air brakes. He trying to drive a big wig, right? So sometimes words in English, they'll have a specific meaning or they'll have a general meaning. And in Arabic, we have the same thing. So we have taqwa, right? And so when we're talking about actions of the heart, taqwa is one of those. Actions of the limbs, we have to, even though we're doing these actions of the limbs, we need to have taqwa while we do it. And then the mu'amilat, we deal with people, fear Allah, have taqwa when we do that. So taqwa and bir is keeping Allah the success. So these three principles are captured in the five from the collection of Imam Nawawi, as agreed upon by Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Number one, actions are judged by intentions. Our actions of the five. Whomsoever is into this affair of ours, something that does not belong to it, it will be rejected. And in hadith number 6, truly the lawful, those jokes would have instruction in them, right? She said all hadith are just hadith Qudsi. And I'm saying the hadith of the Prophet in their totality should be looked at as a form of revelation, right? The Quran is no doubt about. If it's in the Holy Quran, you know. Whereas the revelation and the hadith are graded on authenticity, right? So you have to say, did the Prophet really say this or not? You know what I'm saying? So obviously, like we said, sometimes you have a weak hadith. You can't use that hadith as a way to confirm something about the religion. But if it's talking about a principle that's already established and it's trying to urge people to do good, you could use it, but you still have to point out its weakness. You can't use it and act like it's not a weak hadith, right? So hadith are graded. They're authentic, meaning the probability that the Prophet ﷺ said this is high. Above that, there's no doubt in this hadith whatsoever, right? You know that the Prophet ﷺ said this. Because there's so many different narrators that said it couldn't have been a lie. They couldn't have conspired together and made up a statement that he said. And the statement mirrors in each statement. All of it in the most quoted hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. It's quoted with over 70 something change is anybody who affirms a saying to me that I did not say should name his seat in the hellfire. Basically, if you say that the Prophet ﷺ said something that he did not say, you can pick your place where you're going to be, but you're going to hell, right? So many people narrated this hadith that there's no doubt that the Prophet ﷺ said it, right? And that hadith gives us fear, right? We say, we want to make sure somebody said that the Prophet ﷺ said something, we don't pass it on that it's from the Prophet ﷺ. So a mutawatir hadith, there's no doubt. A sahih hadith, the chances are very good that this came from the Prophet ﷺ. It's sahih. The probability is high. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody said this is collected in Imam Muslim and it's authentic, it's sahih, we should perk up. We should be like, this is a part of our religion. We shouldn't just say, that's just them hadith, man. I don't go with I don't be trying to hear hadith. What the Quran say? You know what I'm saying? That's not the Prophet ﷺ. In the Holy Quran, it says, أَفَلَا تُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْبَعْدِ الْكِتَابِ. Is it that you believe in a portion of the book? وَتَكْفُرُونَ, and you disbelieve in a portion of the book. Instead of taking it in its totality, saying, okay, I'm submitting to Allah. I'm Muslim. I believe in this religion. I'm submitting. So now that you submitted, why are you saying, okay, I'm not going to do this, but I'm going to do that? It doesn't even make sense. Submit it, then take it as it's come down. This has isnad from the Prophet ﷺ. It's not like, somebody's jumping up here and trying to tell you something that there's no backing for. Hit the mode button, and that should cut the heat off. The one that says mode, M-O-D-E. You trying to turn it off or turn it up? Oh. We still trying to figure that one out. I'm up in here hot. The guests come. La ilaha illallah, because I'm preaching, So the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ are looked at as a form of revelation, right? They are looked at as a form of revelation, but they're not affirmed like the Quran, meaning we have to grade the hadith. But the work has been done for us. The work was done by the people who came before us, right? They sat down, they challenged each hadith, they listened to the isnad, they said, does these things line up? Was this person too young to understand the person who's saying he got it from? If it is, then this hadith has a broken chain. They looked at those types of things, right? So when we look at the hadith, we should take it like the Quran. For spiritual benefit and edification, we should try to learn as many as we want, right? As many as we're able to. But at the same time, when it comes to religious rulings, it's not for lay people. It's not for me and you to just open up a book of Bukhari and start reading the English translation and telling everybody how to live their life. That's not scholars of the religion. They tell us how to practice the religion. Just like a person goes to medical school and becomes a doctor, he gets a job at Kaiser. I would have never met my doctor at Kaiser before. He graduated from medical school, got this job. Now I get my appointment, I go in, he tells me, take this, take 2 of these pills and call me in the morning, right? He's a doctor. I can't go to anybody who just came home from jail and he read a couple medical books while he was lifting weights, and then he tells me, take these 2 pills and call me in the morning. He's not a doctor, right? Like, so if he wants to read those things for his own personal edification, he should do that. But to become a scholar of this religion, you have to certain curriculum. Whether or not you went to an Islamic university or you sat and studied with a scholar who taught you that stuff, but you can't just read these books yourself and then all of a sudden you can tell everybody how to live their life. And I think that happened a little bit for the Muslims. You know, we first couple generations in Islam, you know, everybody was a scholar, right? I took a month, I'm telling you everything, you know what I'm saying? And then you like, wait a minute, this don't even sound right. This sound kind of fishy, bruh. I remember one time a brother told me, he said, man, to the room with your wallet in your pocket. I swear to God. I've been Muslim, like, you know, since the 80s. I heard it all. I said, you can't go with your wallet in your pocket. He said, no, man, that's haram because your wallet got money in it and the money say, in God we trust. So you're taking God's name into the bathroom, right? I mean, you know, where he's coming from is authentic in a way. We don't want to wear a shirt that says Bismillah in Arabic and wear it to use in the bathroom. We don't want to take Allah's name written in Arabic. The understanding is Allah's name written in Arabic cannot go into the bathroom with you, right? If somebody writes A-L-L-A-H, that's not Allah's name in Arabic, right? As the Sheikh would tell us, when first time he hears someone say Allah, he gonna be like, what you say? He'd be like, Allah. Allah you Akbar. Right? So, but, you know, everybody can't just prescribe the medication that we need. So if you take the wrong, it might be good medication. And we know this with the opium thing, right? It might be good medication, but if you taking it the way it's not prescribed, it can be very, very dangerous. You know what I'm saying? You waking up in the morning, I need the pills to function, right? And those might have been prescribed originally by a doctor. So what's the case if it's prescribed by somebody who got no business with medicine, right? And it's the same when it becomes our religious authority. All Muslims need somebody to teach them this religion, right? We shouldn't just pop on YouTube, know what I'm saying, bounce around. In every locality in this country, they have Muslims who studied Islam at high levels. It's like we should sit down, take classes with people, know what I'm saying? We should enroll in classes at different institutes. They got the traveling institutes to come around, know what I'm saying? We should enroll in some of those courses, know what I'm saying? Just because we graduate from a few courses don't mean that we're qualified to, now we're going around telling everybody how to live their life, because it becomes complicated to teach people how to live when we might not even know how to live ourselves, right? That's not the same as saying if a brother want to come with a book. We got a brother that comes on Saturdays. He comes and he teaches out the book. He reads the book with the commentary. I encourage people to do that because that's for religious edification. That's for ourselves to get a little boost on Saturday night. When I ain't going to the nightclub, the brother gonna come, tell me the story of the prophet. That's a beautiful thing. That's different from somebody giving you religious rulings. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. People can only do that if they're qualified to do that. Like the doctor is qualified to prescribe medication. You know what I'm saying? The car mechanic, he got certain licenses from the state of California so that he can run a smog on your car. Anybody ain't just gonna do a smog for your car. You can't just pull up in my garage and I turn on some equipment. That ain't gonna work. You ain't gonna get your registration, ain't gonna pass unless you get a qualified smog specialist. And it's in the same way, this religion, the exact same way. All this religion, you have to have qualified people. So if you got questions about fasting, praying, you got to ask somebody who knows. You know what I'm saying? And not just, oh, I read this book and it said this and that. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna start next week with a bigger script, because I looked at this, I said, man, this Arabic is so small. A bigger this hadith a long time ago, the Sheikh had to correct me on it, and that's why Imam Ahmed, he would never recite hadith from memory. He would recite hadith. Hadith isn't like Quran, right? Like we learn Quran and we get it down and we recite it from memory, right? Hadith is a whole lot more hadith literature than there is Quran, right? And number two, Quran follows a certain women. I'm like, look, man. You said that's some serious exit. It ain't just like, you ain't just about to fast 60 days. If you couldn't fast one day, now you gotta fast 60 straight, and you still married to the same sister. Know what I'm saying? You can't sleep with her in the daytime for 60 days. You had problems doing it once. Know what I'm saying? So, and this comes from the religion, but like if you go to the guy at the masjid who read a couple of hadith, he gonna be like, either he gonna know the ruling and apply it to the male and the woman the same, which is wrong. Fine. The person who initiates the act is the man. So he's the one who has the more severe expiation, right? But for, most don't know, he's gonna be like, both of y'all have to do that. If you don't have the money, This happened in the time of the Prophet. The Prophet said, some man said, I can't free a slave. Only slave I got, right? So only back that I control is my own back. That's what he said. And then he said, well then feed 60 people. He said, I don't have that I can't feed 60 people. I only have enough for me and my family. That's it. And the Prophet said, well then fast 60 days consecutively. He said, I can't fast 60 days consecutively. I was like, I can't even imagine myself fast. And then really like Ramadan we could do because it's Ramadan. But most people, they can't fast